From R.D. Smothers Wealth Management, this is The Retirement.
When you retire, if you want an exciting life, you need a boring investment strategy.
Matters.
If you enter into retirement without a plan for income, you're not retired, you're simply unemployed.
Podcast.
Hey, this is your host, Dale Smothers, and you're listening to the Retirement Matters Podcast. My hope is that you will find the information you need in every single show on how to do one of the three things: either saving more money more efficiently, planning better for your future where you can live in retirement worry-free, or my favorite, how you can live a happy and fulfilled life in this life you have been given. We know that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending it listening to this episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast. On today's episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast, we take some liberty with a cruise vacation and the parallels that we can draw between that and retirement planning, and we have a really good time doing this show. A lot of fun parallels, a lot of things that are maybe things you've never even thought about, but when you equate them to the experience you would have on something like a cruise versus the experience you would have in planning for retirement, it begins to help you understand why it's so important for things like a proper plan, an itinerary. Maybe it's important that you have more than just the captain working on the ship, and we get into the details of that. Maybe it's important for you that you not feel as many of the waves to ensure that your experience is everything that you desire. All of this is discovered and discussed in today's podcast, and it's a pretty fun one to do, I have to tell you. I've been on some cruises myself, and if you've ever been on a cruise, you're going to see a lot of the parallels here. If you've never been on a cruise, well, hopefully you can still put this analogy to work in your mind and understand the importance of planning a properly structured retirement with a team you can trust, and knowing that your retirement plan is built to weather the storms of the seas you are entering into. So, without further ado, we are going to jump into this week's episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast, but I want to ask you a special favor here. I want you to give us an honest review on this show, not only this episode, but on this particular Retirement Matters podcast show. If you've listened enough to have heard enough of our content, I want to know what you think about it. We've had one individual who has posted a review that was, and we just opened this up for reviews recently. And the review that you can see, if you go on there and see that, it talks about me sharing religion, which is a very unique post, to say the least. So I would love an opportunity to hear your opinion and to see a review. Leave a star rating, like, subscribe, share with friends, whatever it is, but leave us a review so I can hear a little bit of feedback from you. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to this week's episode, which I wanted to title How to Cruise Through Retirement, which I think is a fitting title. My marketing team, though, I don't know if they're going to stick with that. It may not be as SEO optimized as they would like. So, whatever it's titled, I hope that you enjoy this show. Good morning to you. I hope you're doing well and you're ready to start discussing all things retirement matters. This morning, we're going to start off with a bit of trivia. It's a bit of trivia coming from a statistic that I saw in the newspaper just a few weeks ago. It asked a question about cruising and whether or not it was one of the most enjoyable and affordable ways to travel. They did a lot of studies on the number of cruisers over the last decade, and they mentioned a number of people that are set to or expected to take a cruise in 2025. So I'm going to ask you this question. How many Americans will take a cruise in 2025? We're going to leave this as an open-ended answer. You can come up with any number you want to. How many Americans are expected to take a cruise in 2025? We'll answer that in just a bit. And we're going to relate cruises to retirement in a lot of different ways today. This is going to be a fun show. It's going to be a lot of analogies. And if you like stories, I think we'll work a few of those in as well. So let's go to the first story, which is our pause for positivity. This is a very simple story. I was getting out of the truck a couple of days ago to go to my son's football practice, Andrew. He is in 3rd grade. And at football practice, I got out of the truck and noticed that everyone had a red jersey on. It seemed like everyone had some sort of a color red on, which makes sense because we're Taylor County Cardinals, where my son plays football. And I noticed everyone here had red. There were really, really bright red. There was really dull red. And there was some red that was a little bit funny, almost like a pink. Well, practice went on for a few minutes, and I took my sunglasses off, and all the colors changed. And I realized it's not that everybody had red on. It's that the pair of sunglasses I had chosen that day were red lenses. And for that reason, I saw everything in red. And it made me think. So much of our perception is due to the lens that we look through. And so this pause for positivity is for us to take just a second and to consider everything that we hear, everything that we experience, everything that we witness, even those things we have eyewitness accounts on. We have to understand that it comes to us from a perspective, a point of view. And a lot of times, if we will change the lens that we are looking through, things look differently. Again, the lens that we are putting in front of our eye will change the way our eye sees it and the way our brain perceives it. So no matter what my eyes were seeing and what my brain was perceiving, not everyone had a red jersey on. Everyone was being viewed through a red lens. And that is something to think about. And it's going to be our pause for positivity this week. I want to challenge you as you go through this week coming up. I want you to choose the lens of positivity, the lens of optimism, the lens of encouragement. Choose that lens. This is a choice. It's not easy, but it's definitely a choice. And when we choose to perceive things in a positive light, positivity flows through us. And with a little dose of positivity, the world changes around us. So let's go together on this journey this week. Let's choose the lens of optimism. And let's see the world in a different light. Let's point it out as we go, and let's try to change other people's perspective along the way. There's our pause for positivity. We're going to a quick break, and when we come back, don't Google, don't cheat on me, but I want you to guess on this trivia question. Once again, how many Americans are expected to cruise in 2025 on a cruise ship? And if you're just joining us, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going into more retirement matters. And we're going to relate a lot of the things that are encountered in retirement, specifically in the retirement income journey, to taking a cruise. It's going to be a fun show. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with more retirement matters right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Looks like we have about a 72% chance of a successful landing today.
Did you catch that? A 72% chance of success? No one would fly on this airline. But you'd be surprised how many people take this approach to their own retirement. This is Dale Smothers, your host of the Retirement Matters Show. Join me right here each week as we discuss ways you can gain confidence in your retirement plan. Good decision-making, time-tested strategies, and a well-written plan will allow you the luxury of relaxation, even when you're going through those panic-inducing, turbulent times. As the host of the Retirement Matters Show, we will teach you how to keep your retirement on track, making sure that your destination is everything you wanted it to be.
Tune in for the Retirement Matters Show with Dale Smothers. Also, check out the Retirement Matters podcast. Just search for Retirement Matters with Dale Smothers on the podcast platform of your choice.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's jump into the trivia question. How many Americans are expected to cruise this year? And the answer is 19 million. 19 million Americans are expected to cruise in the year 2025. And when I look at the disparity between those who are older versus those who are younger, there's quite a disparity of who enjoys cruises more. The 12 to 29 crowd, not super enthusiastic about cruising. But once you have reached the age of 40, it seems as if cruising becomes something very popular, something that you want to do more often. Now, I'm not quite to 40, but I'm a big fan of cruising. I started when I was young. I went with my parents. And, they had won a cruise, I think, the first time that we went. Decided to go on this cruise and had an incredible time with a friend of mine. As you can imagine, young teenage boys enjoying their time on the cruise and then getting off of the boat and going to excursions. If you've ever been to a cruise, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just fun all around. So many things to do on the ship. So many places to eat. Never a dull moment on a cruise ship. And I got to thinking about a lot of the people that we work with. Our firm, RDS Wealth, we specialize in retirement planning. And so we tend to talk to a lot of people who are over the age of 55. Between 60 and say 65, there's a lot of planning of what they want to do when they retire. And a lot of the time we hear that a cruise is somewhere on the itinerary of a retirement sabbatical. When they break away from retirement and take a break from life, cruising a lot of times ends up being on a bucket list. Whether it's a cruise around the Mediterranean Sea or just a cruise to Alaska, or maybe it's just a Caribbean cruise. It doesn't matter. And it makes sense. When I look at the statistics, the age group between 60 and 69, over 19% of all cruise goers are in that age group. And if we just say anyone over the age of 50, from 50 and on, almost 60% of all cruisers are in that age group. And this is the primary demographic that we work with. So we are able to draw some analogies and build some parallels between taking a cruise and planning for retirement. And funny enough, I know of several of our clients who have either just gotten back from a cruise, they're currently on a cruise, or they're about to go on a cruise in just a few weeks. And so it's easy for us because there are a lot of parallels between cruising and retirement planning. But I want to draw some specific parallels here for today's show. And we're going to start with the itinerary, the actual itinerary of a cruise vacation. And one thing that is very unique about cruising is that you know exactly how long you're going to be gone. You know exactly where you're going to be staying the entire time. You know exactly where you're going to be stopping. You know exactly where you're going to be eating dinner every night. And you can start to make an itinerary for yourself once you arrive on the boat for all of the excursions. There is a lot of planning that is done in advance, whether you want to or not, for a cruise, which is what makes it such a successful and cost-effective way to vacation. It is very similar to retirement. If you are not doing the proper amount of planning in retirement, you will go through retirement spending more money than you need to, paying more tax than you need to, missing out on things that you desired to do, and not having the time or the confidence to spend the money on the things that you wanted to do. This is what we call a what-if retirement. Without the right amount of planning, you are living this what-if retirement because what if the market crashes? What if the interest rates go through the roof? What if inflation rears its ugly head? What if war breaks out? And you don't spend your money, you don't spend your money, and you don't spend your money. And maybe on your bucket list of items, you wanted to buy a boat, tour the world, or join a country club. And you go through life not doing these things because you're afraid to spend the money. You have no real plan for what things are going to cost or how long you're going to be in certain situations. You have no plan for how long you're going to need money. You have no plan for where Medicare or Social Security comes in. You don't know how much taxes will be. You're not familiar with your investment plan, perhaps. You know it's always went up, but there's been a lot of really bad years, and God forbid that happens in the year that I want to do one of these things. So you don't spend your money, you don't spend your money, you don't spend your money, and you go through life, again, wanting to buy the boat, tour the world, or join the country club, but you fail to do those things. And when you die, your money passes to your kids. And guess what they do the instant they get your money? Well, they buy a boat, they tour the world, and they join the country club. Everything you wanted to do in life is now done by your kiddos with your money that you should have been doing all along. This is because you're living in that what-if retirement. So we're going to go into some parallels here as the show goes on, but the first one I want you to really draw your attention to, if you've ever been on a cruise, is the fact that the amount of planning that goes into that cruise is very, very detailed. The amount of planning from when you are going to disembark, what city you are going to disembark in, what cities you are going to hit along the way, how many days you will be at sea, how many days you will be parked in a destination, having the ability to go out and do excursions and do all the fun things. You know where you're going to be staying before you get on the ship. You know your room number. You even have an emergency contact card that is sent to you to where you can hand that to people in case something bad happens. This type of planning is required to take a cruise effectively, and it is equally as important, if not more, to retire effectively. So many people fail to do the planning necessary. Think about it like this. It would be the same as if you were just investing in your 401k and racing to the date of retirement without putting any plans into place. It would be just like this. Knowing that you have the money to buy the cruise and maybe even going ahead and prepaying the cruise, but having no idea when to show up, where to show up, how long the cruise is going to be for, or the cities that you are going to visit. It would be very difficult to have an effective cruise without the proper itinerary, and you are going to face a retirement that is not nearly as fulfilled without the proper itinerary. This itinerary is what we call the Retirement Atlas. The Retirement Atlas is a set of roadmaps designed to build you a very customized path forward through income planning, investment planning, tax planning, healthcare planning, and legacy planning. In these maps, we cover when you should be taking Social Security, how your investments will be invested to generate the income that you need built around the income plan, which is a targeted amount of income that you must have to hit your desired retirement lifestyle. In the tax plan, we want to make sure that we're paying out the IRS as effectively as possible, which we'll talk a little bit about later in the show. And in the healthcare plan, we're going to help you navigate around Medicare and all the complexities of that, which we like to call the alphabet soup of Medicare. And then we're going to help you understand what options you have around protecting your house, your farm, and all of your hard-earned assets from loss in a nursing home. This is a well-rounded itinerary, air quotes, that we call the Retirement Atlas. And so many people spend far more time planning their vacation like a cruise than they do planning for their retirement. And here's what I know. I know that if you spend the time necessary to plan for your retirement, you can have the vacations you desire and the destinations that you've dreamed of. You can have what we call a retirement the way you desired. This live happy retirement allows you to spend the time and money on and with the people you care about the most, and less time worrying about your money. So here's what I want to offer. I want to offer you a consultation free of charge with one of our team members, and I've went well over with this particular section. So I want to tell you how to get in touch with us. 270-600-PLAN. We'll get you in touch with our team. You can sit down with a team member and go over your details and your plan, making sure that it's going to take you to the destinations you desire along this retirement journey. You can also schedule a time where we call you at a convenient time for you by going to our website, rdswealth.com, rdswealth.com, schedule a visit, and an advisor will reach out to you when the time is right. 270-600-PLAN, give us a call, or RDS Wealth, and schedule a visit today. We'll talk very soon after this quick break about why it's important to make sure that more than just your captain is working on the boat. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back right after this.
You're listening to the Retirement Matters Show with Dale Smothers. Dale is the founder and president of R.D. Smothers Wealth Management. We specialize in building retirement plans that allow you to walk away from the worry of running out of money. If you'd like to chat with a member of our team, you can do so absolutely free by calling 270-600-PLAN. That's 270-600-PLAN. Visit us online at rdswealth.com and be sure to sign up for our free weekly newsletter.
All right, welcome back to the show. And if you are tuning in for the very first time, I want you to know we are talking about how you can cruise through retirement. We are equating a cruise, a vacation, to retiring. And we've just talked about the itinerary and why it's important for you to understand where you're disembarking from and the cities you're going to hit and how long the cruise is for you to have a successful cruise. It's the same way with retirement. But there's also a parallel once you have arrived on the boat that is very important. And we're going to spend just a little bit of time. I'm talking 2 or 3 minutes on this section. It's not going to be very long, but it's going to be very impactful. Because in order for you to have a successful cruise, if you've ever been on a cruise, you know that, let's imagine it's a 7-night cruise. There are a lot of people working on that cruise ship. There are documentaries on Netflix that you can watch about how cruises work. And cruise ships are a well-ran organization. It's very much like a little city on the ocean. And the objective is to have the best experience possible for the cruise goers. And for that reason, multiple people are working together like a well-refined orchestra to make sure that your experience on board is everything it can possibly be. So I want to ask you this question. No matter how good this captain is of the boat, would the cruise be the same if the only person working on the boat was the captain? So again, if the only person on this boat that was any good at all, or maybe knew anything about how to work in the cruise line industry was the captain, do you think the food would be as good? Do you think the entertainment would be as good? Do you think the pools would be clean? Do you think that the midnight snacks would be set out? Do you think room service would get done? Do you think your toilet would be cleaned? These things are just as important for the experience as it is to make sure that the waters are charted properly and navigated properly. Now, I hope you're getting my point here, but if you're not, I'm going to make it very clear. When you enter into retirement, you need more than just a good financial advisor. You need a team. At RDS Wealth Management, we have crafted a team to help you navigate retirement and enjoy the experience. It's much more than just making sure we're picking the right stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. So you have much more on this team than just a good financial advisor. The financial advisor themselves is not the only piece you need. You need a very good one, but you need your cooks, and you need your pool cleaners, and you need those who are going to help you understand where the game room is, or maybe where the spa is, or maybe it's where the gym is. This type of navigation on the boat itself is equally important. And that's where our RDS Wealth team comes in. We have a team built around you in retirement. It's not just a single advisor trying to pick the right stocks and bonds for you. We are a team of financial professionals who are helping you navigate through retirement efficiently. We want the experience to be everything that it is cracked up to be. We want your stocks to grow, no doubt. We want your money to continue to work, no doubt. But after we've charted the path forward, we then embark with you along this journey, making sure that it's everything you desire it to be along the way. Much more than just a single advisor making recommendations, you have a team at your disposal who will help you in answering the questions, big or small, about how retirement should be navigated efficiently. Social Security, Medicare, taxes, estate planning. We help point you in the right direction to get the type of advice you need on all of these pieces. And you have one place to go. You have one person to chat with, and it's our team. The entire team is at your disposal, allowing you to ask the questions, and then, of course, together we find the answers. Many of those answers we can answer for you directly. Some we have to pull other team members in or other professionals in, but we make sure that your retirement journey is what it is intended to be by you. We believe that you have the right to retire the way you desire, and it is our mission to make sure that that is carried out appropriately. If you would like to talk to our team, 270-600-PLAN, we would love an opportunity to work for you on this journey towards retirement. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to reset. We're coming back discussing the waves that you can sometimes experience in the rough seas of a cruise. And we're going to equate that to potentially the rough seas that you may feel in retirement. I'm sure you can already pick up on the parallels in that analogy. More Retirement Matters right after this.
Thank you for listening to Retirement Matters, presented by R.D. Smothers Wealth Management. If you'd like to speak with us, give us a call at 270-600-PLAN. And if you enjoy the information in this show and would like to hear more, you can access previous shows by searching for the Retirement Matters podcast on the podcast platform of your choice. We also produce a weekly newsletter. Receive it free to your email inbox by signing up online at rdswealth.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. We are talking about cruising through retirement. And when you get on a cruise ship, again, you're on a big city right in the middle of the ocean. And sometimes the ocean isn't behaving very well. You may have choppy waters. And one thing you may or may not know about a cruise ship is that it has giant stabilizers that extend. If this cruise ship is big enough and new enough, giant stabilizers that extend out into the ocean to keep this boat from rocking too far one way or the other, because too much rocking can disturb the experience. It can tip over a dinner table. It can make playing pool somewhat impossible. It can make a swimming pool overflow its parameters. This is very troublesome for a cruise ship. And for that reason, not only are they navigating appropriately to avoid choppy seas and places that are notorious for choppy seas, but they are also built in a way to where you will not feel most of those choppy seas. Because cruise lines realize that when you're out at sea, hitting a wave every once in a while is inevitable. But whether or not you feel that wave is something that is manageable. The same can be said about a retirement investment portfolio. When you transition into retirement income phase, it's the same as walking off of the land and walking on to sea. Now that you are at sea, you have to be prepared for the unexpected. And a retirement income plan must not only set the target for a retiree, but it must set the expected and required rate of return for that retiree. And it's just like if you know that you've got enough time between, let's just take a cruise to the Bahamas, for instance, between Miami and Nassau. If the captain knows they've got a full night to make that journey, they're not going to go nearly as fast as they may go if they're 3 hours behind. Knowing when they leave, where they're going, and the sea conditions between their starting point and their ending point is important. That's what an income plan does for us. And then the investment plan allows us to extend these giant stabilizers out in your plan and begin navigating these waters, the market. I hope you're getting my analogy. Navigating these waters efficiently, avoiding the spots that tend to be trouble. But yet, if we hit an unexpected wave, allowing you to not feel those waves because of the way we're built. This is the RDS Wealth way. We have trademarked this portfolio management style in the risk-on, risk-off portfolio. Kiplinger article recently published a magazine article on this risk-on, risk-off portfolio, and we have built a stabilizing arm, if you will, for your retirement income phase portfolio. We'd love to show you how it can help you weather the storms of the market, which are sure to come one day or the next. 270-600-PLAN will get you in touch with our team. We'd love an opportunity to sit down with you and help you understand how you too may cruise through retirement. And just like that, we are at the end of the show. Time goes way too fast whenever I get to spend it with you, and I appreciate you spending it with me each and every week. We are going to end this show rather quickly because I have extended my time, but I do hope that you've picked up on some parallels here with cruising. Set the itinerary, have a team built around you, and weather the storms. They're sure to come, but how your portfolio is built will determine the experience that you have through them. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I've got to remind you of the 3 very important things to do each and every week. Until we talk again, whether it's right here on this station or it's in person, always remember, save money, plan well, and live happy in retirement. God bless.
Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and RD Smothers Wealth Management are not affiliated companies. Investing involves a risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. RD Smothers Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by RD Smothers Wealth Management.